The Norfolk Association of Architects, the Norwich Society and Civic Voice have partnered for the second time on the prestigious Norfolk Design and Craftsmanship Awards, which took place in October 2021. Norfolk has some of the most innovative and locally loved contemporary architecture and community projects in the country. These awards are an exciting opportunity to celebrate Norfolk's huge talent as shown by architects, builders, and those commissioning and delivering projects. The aim of this collaboration is to bring the best local designs, workmanship, craftsmanship, and community action to a wider audience. The awards are divided into 5 categories: community projects, houses and housing, non-residential, conservation or restoration projects, and an innovation for this year, a student prize. We had over 45 nominations in all, and the following projects have either been commended for some aspect of the scheme or given the accolade of a full award. We are grateful to the various sponsors who supported DCA 21, who are identified as we go through this presentation. So what are we looking for? Projects and buildings that inspire and positively affect our shared built environment now and in the future. A high level of design and craftsmanship in construction, sustainable projects that support communities' health, social and cultural well-being, and community projects that contribute to local life, promote a pride of place, and benefit from community participation and engagement. After a rigorous judging process, an awards dinner and ceremony were held at the Assembly House in Norwich on the 14th of October 2021. Following the dinner, we got down to business with the awards. Each shortlisted nomination had been visited by our team of judges who considered all aspects of the project and selected the characteristics that, in their opinion, made this an excellent scheme. The first up was the community category, which promotes projects or buildings by community groups. This small parcel of land, which was adjacent to an old demolished library, hence the name, is owned by Norwich City Council but received no funding and little maintenance, resulting in the area being subject to antisocial behaviour. A local group came together around 3 years ago and took action to help solve these problems. The council maintains the path, lighting and cut the grass, but everything else is done by the volunteers. Within 3 years it has become a well-used, with lots of people using the space to sit and have their lunch and use the 2 popular book swap areas. They plan to have more events to fundraise and raise awareness of the Woodland. It was nice to see public art and sculptures being incorporated into the Woodland. This is a great example of how a group of local residents have come together to improve an area suffering from antisocial behaviour. Small-scale interventions can make a difference and show that people do care about their area. Norwich City Football Club's Community Sports Foundation Hub offers state-of-the-art football and sports facilities for children and young people, including residential accommodation for school visits. It is also open to the wider public through the cafe, events and conference space. The building has a high-quality, distinctive design with impressive sports and educational facilities. The Nest is relatively unique in the UK for how it engages with many community groups of all ages and abilities. This historic building could have been so easily lost to a developer, but at short notice a local group came together to save it and bring it back to life as a community pub. This was all the more of an achievement being done through the difficult times of COVID lockdown. We applaud the pub's aims to be socially generous and inclusive and environmentally zero carbon. For example, they are currently working on plans to install solar panels and charging points for electric boats. The aim here is not necessarily profit, but providing a resource that can look after itself and deliver benefit to the community. The Matthew project has been running for 37 years from several locations around the city. Their primary objective is to provide a support network for vulnerable adults to help them get back into work and society. 2 years ago, they took over this old council food testing facility and have transformed the utilitarian space into a warm and welcoming centre. The design is modern and functional, with real consistency of how it all works together, from the cafe area through to the offices. It has been cleverly designed to make the most of the available space, including the introduction of a new mezzanine and flexibility in use. During the planning of the building refurbishment, they had a focus group of members who all contributed to the final layout and design. The semi-commercial kitchen is used for training and will shortly open as a cafe to the public. This is a development of two family houses with a bold modern appearance. External surfaces of brickwork and render are well executed, offering clean, crisp lines. The layouts are efficient and the overall design responds to the constrained urban site. This is a multi-purpose micro-development next to the architect's own house. It is currently used as a living/stroke workplace, while significant works to the main house are underway. In the future, when the owner moves back into the house, the studio can serve as a guest accommodation. The building is sensitively placed on the site and carefully frames views of its woodland setting. The fabric is highly insulated and airtight. This is a true self-build project constructed by the architect himself using locally sourced and reclaimed materials. The form is well considered, appropriate, and conscientiously acknowledges its setting. The building incorporates passive solar design and a wildflower green roof. This is a stunning conversion of a disused agricultural building into a luxury private dwelling. The footprint and structural form are consistent with the original grain store, though the interior has been cleverly rearranged to create vast, dramatic living spaces that are surprisingly homely. Materials have been carefully selected and crafted to engineer a light, warm, yet industrial aesthetic that references the former modern barn structure. Blue Sky Barn exemplifies a strong working relationship between a passionate client, dynamic architect, and skillful contractor. Freeholders is purpose-built holiday accommodation and a future retirement home for the client. It has been designed to fit in with the irregular historic cottages of Wells. As noted by a local resident, the house is a carefully crafted structure that blends successfully with the older houses alongside. The design withstands flooding and enables the house to continue to function above the flood level. The construction is extremely well executed and incorporates traditional techniques alongside exemplary detailing. This is a sharp, contemporary private home that combines traditional materials with modern construction methods within the constraints of a single-storey building. Bold, angular external walls continue internally to form a large, open-plan living space with a distinctive gull-wing roof. The orientation accommodates passive solar design and frames a unique, picturesque view of the local countryside. Hethersett Woodside Primary and Nursery School is a two-storey primary school with a separate nursery providing a simple, logical layout. Although the elevation design is quite austere, the scheme clearly draws on the designer's many decades of school design development, and acoustic panels add visual interest to the classrooms. Hethersett Academy is a large new two-storey extension with a simple, logical layout with entrance core, central corridor and theatre/hall space. The site plan allows space for future extensions to the south between the new block and the existing school. A two-storey brick colonnade provides drama, cover over the entrance and some solar shading. The extensive use of wood lends a feeling of warmth to this building, and the design evokes a sense of excitement. Triangular windows are perhaps not the more efficient use of materials or space, but present a more inspiring and challenging space. Crown Place provides accommodation for approximately 700 students and is a good example of beneficial conversion of existing redundant office accommodation. Although the basic building is somewhat dour, the imaginative conversion of some ground floor former retail space has enabled 2 impressive open courts surrounded by indoor communal spaces. The roof terraces are also impressive. LMA Barnes building is a stylish, functional design with real presence. The glazing maximises the use of natural light as well as conspicuously demonstrating the work being done inside. Architecturally, the building stands its ground in relation to the recent high-quality buildings nearby. This site provides accommodation for approximately 300 students. The building makes a positive contribution to the cityscape without resort to obvious architectural gestures. It demonstrates a simple, legible and logical layout, with the central court providing a strong, sunny external space which is publicly accessible. Student accommodation is to a high standard and some rooms have dramatic views over the city. And here's the team from Conisbee celebrating their success. This year featured the inaugural DCA Student Award, recognising the incredible talent within the 2nd and 3rd years of the architecture course at Norwich University of the Arts. The awards were presented to the students who had shown most consideration to a sense of place and community within their design proposals, and had demonstrated overall design and craftsmanship excellence. Attendees at the awards ceremony were able to view the student designs prior to the awards being made. The designs featured proposals for projects in Great Yarmouth and London. The refurbishment of this Georgian hall in the centre of a special educational needs school proved tricky, but much work was carried out under a temporary weatherproof roof, which allowed re-roofing and internal works to continue simultaneously, resulting in a high-quality finish. Careful reuse of slates and pantiles on the roofs and the reconstruction of one of the Dutch gables was well managed. The beautiful plasterwork ceiling of the ballroom has been preserved and considerable repairs carried out in the ground floor areas. Some outbuildings have been repurposed as further classrooms. This 17th century former weaving factory was in a state of disrepair, with external walls considerably out of true. There has been carefully considered conservation work to the existing building, with repair of brick window arches and the repurposing of materials, notably the cast iron structural columns. The repair of the long weavers' windows, which span the width of the 2nd floor, has been sensitively done, with secondary glazing to this and the other windows well managed. This area of Mountergate has been enhanced by the high-quality restoration. The repurposing of a derelict Grade 2 listed barn into a brewery has been a very successful project. The unobtrusive installation of modern industrial brewing equipment has been managed with all insertions clearly reversible. Well-delivered craftsmanship and detailing are evident, and the historic fabric has been carefully repaired. The project brings new employment and community facilities to the village of West Acre. This project fulfills every conservation principle: the successful accommodation of bats within the rear building, the use of hot lime mortar to repair all masonry, the use of Holcomb's own traditional joinery workshop and use of linseed oil paints, the new bell cast by the Loughborough foundry of John Taylor & Co., the replication of original messenger ironwork. All these make the glass house and bell tower highly sustainable. These buildings now show visitors and school parties how food is produced in the walled garden. In 2008, noted local architect Sir Bernard Feilden died and left a sum of money to the Norwich Society to establish a specific conservation award. Sir Bernard served in Mesopotamia during the Second World War, where he saw the sculptured reliefs of the Assyrian hunting lions. Similar lions adorn the entrance to City Hall. The Society agreed it would be appropriate to appoint a local sculptor, Doe Phillips, to recreate these lions in model form as a fitting tribute to Sir Bernard and his international work for conservation. The Society has been honoured that at every event since 2009, Lady Feilden has presented this cherished award. This derelict and unoccupied historic building on Elm Hill has undergone extensive high-quality repairs and a thoughtful reconfiguration of internal layout to provide a sustainable, livable house with modern amenities. Environmental considerations have been thoroughly resolved, and there has been sensitive and detailed conservation of historic features. Its conservation has enhanced the local area and community. And here you see the award being presented to the Chair of the Norwich Preservation Trust, Stephen Earle, by Lady Feilden. That completes the Design and Craftsmanship Awards 2021. This scheme is run by the Norwich Society, the Norfolk Association of Architects and Civic Voice as a not-for-profit event. Any financial surplus is donated to the charities we have selected. This year we are supporting St Martin's Housing Trust for their Housing First project, which provides housing and support for the homeless, and the Architects Benevolent Society, which supports the architectural community and their families in times of need. You can find out further information about the awards on these websites. So that's all for this year, but the awards will return in 2023 when we hope to celebrate yet more excellent projects.